Good evening, everyone from the UD Record Center. I'd like to take the time to thank you for being here and thank you for selecting me as your consultant. My name is Jared Burke, and we'll be going over communication breakdown in this presentation. To start things off, I'd like to make sure everyone's on the same page and fully understanding what exactly communication is. Communication, as defined by the dictionary, is the act of conveying meanings from one entity or group to another through the use of mutually understood signs, symbols, and semiotic rules. Take a closer look, we could look at interpersonal communication module. Here we can see that the sender encodes their thoughts into a message using a medium, be it Facebook or a letter, which is then sent to the receiver, which they have to decode through reading, and then they understand it and send back feedback to the sender. Noise is anything that could be interruptive to the message. Now that we all know what communication is, I'd like to talk about currently what's happening with the company. There's something wrong, and that is the company has been receiving multiple complaints from their customers. And many of you already know this, but many of you are not entirely sure why this is happening. And I would like to share that with you. The customer complaints are stemming from an issue known as communication breakdown. And communication breakdown is often known as a lack of information exchange or zero information being exchanged between two parties. And so somewhere within the company, there is this breakdown of communication. There is no exchange of information happening. And the hardest thing when facing these situations is knowing where it's at and also knowing what damage can be done from it. It may seem as something trivial, but reality is that it's a very dangerous and serious situation. Poor communication, as of the year 2018, has cost companies around the world an estimated $37 billion. And of course, there are other risks than that. Some other risks could possibly be frustration rising in the company, strained relationships between coworkers. There could be a further breakdown in communication. You can see a decrease in productivity amongst all of the employees, and there could also end up being a loss in profits. And so the ultimate question is, at the end of this run, is how do we resolve communication breakdown? Knowing that it is dangerous, we don't want it, how do we resolve it? The answer is simple. We use the cookie crumb method. The cookie crumb method is something I wish all of you to learn and to be able to leave today with being able to do. To describe it, you first find the crumbs. You have to find the trail of crumbs, and you start from all the way at the end. Then you ask a question, and you follow the trail. And you could repeat step 2 and 3 until you find the culprit that is leaving this trail of crumbs. To give you an example of some questions that you might ask during this process, you might ask what caused a mistake, what led to this cause, and where did this lead come from? Through using this method of finding the crumbs, asking the question, and following the trail, you will be able to catch the culprit that is leaving it. Let's use an example. To start off, a company's been receiving customer complaints. You have to find the crumbs, and this is that crumb, those customer complaints. Knowing where the trail starts, you follow it, and you come to realize that the customers are complaining about the soda machine, and that it is no longer dispensing soda. And you ask yourself, why? Now you ask a question, why is this soda machine no longer dispensing soda? What caused this mistake? So you follow the trail, and you come to find out that an employee has no longer filling the soda machine up. And you ask, why are you no longer filling this machine up? Well, they tell you, because my supervisor never told me how to do this. When I was hired on the job, I was not informed that I had to refill the soda machine. This is what led to that mistake. This is what led to the cause. And so now we know that trail of crumbs that started with the customer complaints, it starts with the manager. The communication breakdown was that lack of information, and that is what led to the cookie trail, the crumb trail. So knowing what the culprit is, it is now up to their superior, the culprit superior, to deal with the situation, which would be the director. And it's up to him to how to deal with the situation, which is easy now that we know the problem is. He could simply remove him, replace him, or re-educate. There's a multitude of options. The beauty of this method is that it empowers all men and women in the company to resolve communication breakdown. No matter where they are, all they have to do is follow the trail of crumbs, find the culprit, and then present the culprit to the superior. So I challenge you that no matter where you are in life, no matter what job you're working, or situation you may be facing, follow the crumbs. Thank you for your time.